Leonard Sidney Woolf was an English political theorist, author, publisher and civil servant, and husband of author Virginia Woolf. Early life. Woolf was born in London, the third of 10 children of Solomon Rees Sidney Woolf, a barrister and Queen's Counsel, and Marie. His family was Jewish. After his father died in 1892, Woolf was sent to board at Arlington House School near Brighton, Sussex. From 1894 to 1899 he attended St Paul's School, and in 1899 he won a classical scholarship to Trinity College, Cambridge, where he was elected to the Cambridge Apostles. Other members included Lytton Strachey, John Maynard Keynes, G. E. Moore and M. Forster. Toby Stephen, Virginia Stephen's brother, was friendly with the Apostles, though not a member himself. Woolf was awarded his B.A. in 1902, but stayed for another year to study for the civil service examinations. In October 1904 Woolf moved to Ceylon to become a cadet in the Ceylon Civil Service, in Jaffna and later Kandy, and by August 1908 was named an assistant government agent in the Southern Province, where he administered the district of Hambantota. Woolf returned to England in May 1911 for a year's leave. Instead, however, he resigned in early 1912 and that same year married Virginia Stephen. Together Leonard and Virginia Woolf became influential in the Bloomsbury Group, which also included various other former apostles. In December 1917 Woolf became one of the co-founders of the 1917 Club, which met in Gerrard Street, Soho. Writing. After marriage Woolf turned his hand to writing and in 1913 published his first novel, The Village in the Jungle, which is based on his years in Sri Lanka. A series of books followed at roughly 2 yearly intervals. On the introduction of conscription in 1916, during the First World War, Woolf was rejected for military service on medical grounds, and turned to politics and sociology. He joined the Labour Party and the Fabian Society, and became a regular contributor to the New Statesman. In 1916 he wrote International Government, proposing an international agency to enforce world peace. As his wife's mental health worsened, Woolf devoted much of his time to caring for her. In 1917 the Woolfs bought a small hand-operated printing press, and with it they founded the Hogarth Press. The first project was a pamphlet, hand-printed and bound by themselves. Within 10 years the press had become a full-scale publishing house, issuing Virginia's novels, Leonard's tracts and, among other works, the first edition of T.S. Eliot's The Waste Land. Woolf continued as the main director of the press until his death. His wife suffered from severe bouts of mental illness throughout her life, until her suicide by drowning in 1941. Later Leonard fell in love with a married artist, Trekkie Parsons. In 1919 Woolf became editor of the International Review. He also edited the international section of the Contemporary Review from 1920 to 1922. He was literary editor of The Nation and Athenaeum, generally referred to simply as The Nation, from 1923 to 1930, and joint founder and editor of the Political Quarterly from 1931 to 1959, and for a time he served as secretary of the Labour Party's advisory committees on international and colonial questions. In 1960 Woolf revisited Sri Lanka and was surprised at the warmth of the welcome he received, and even the fact that he was still remembered. Woolf accepted an honorary doctorate from the then new University of Sussex in 1964, and in 1965 he was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society of Literature. He declined the offer of Ch. in the Queen's Birthday Honours List in 1966. Family. Among his 9 siblings, Bella Woolf was also an author. death. Woolf died on 14 August 1969 from a stroke. He was cremated and his ashes were buried alongside his wife's beneath an elm tree in his beloved garden at Monk's House, Rodmell, Sussex. The tree subsequently blew down and Woolf's remains have since been marked by a bronze bust. His papers are held by the University of Sussex at Falmer. Works: The Village in the Jungle 1913, The Wise Virgins 1914, International Government 1916, The Future of Constantinople 1917, The Framework of a Lasting Peace 1917, Cooperation and the Future of Industry 1918, Economic Imperialism 1920, Empire and Commerce in Africa 1920, Socialism and Cooperation 1921, International Cooperative Trade 1922, Fear and Politics 1925, Essays on Literature, History, Politics 1927, Hunting the Highbrow 1927, Imperialism and Civilization 1928, After the Deluge, 3 vols, 1931, 1939, 1953, Quack, Quack, 1935, Barbarians at the Gate 1939, The War for Peace 1940, A Calendar of Consolation, selected by Leonard Woolf 1967, Autobiographical works. Woolf, Leonard, Sowing, An Autobiography of the Years 1880 to 1904. London, Hogarth Press. OCLC 185,524,636. Published in America as Woolf, Leonard, Sowing, An Autobiography of the Years 1880 to 1904. New York, Harcourt, Brace. ISBN 978-015-683945-7. OCLC 1,346,957. Also OCLC 1,339,821. Woolf, Leonard, Growing, An Autobiography of the Years 1904 to 1911. New York, Harcourt, Brace Namp, World. OCLC 494,500. Also OCLC 21,246,847. OCLC 67,527,334. Woolf, Leonard, Diaries in Ceylon 1908 to 1911 and Stories from the East, Records of a Colonial Administrator. London, Hogarth Press. OCLC 30,240,642. Also OCLC 4,194,108. Woolf, Leonard, Beginning Again, An Autobiography of the Years 1911 to 1918. London, Hogarth Press. ISBN 978-07012-02507. OCLC 186,031,278. Published in America as Woolf, Leonard, Beginning Again, An Autobiography of the Years 1911 to 1918. New York, Harcourt, Brace Namp, World. OCLC 264,298. Woolf, Leonard, Downhill All the Way, An Autobiography of the Years 1919 to 1939. New York, Harcourt, Brace Namp, World. OCLC 1,065,888. Woolf, Leonard, The Journey Not the Arrival Matters, An Autobiography of the Years 1939 to 1969. London, Hogarth Press. ISBN 978-07012-03269. OCLC 186,031,338. Published in America as Woolf, Leonard, The Journey Not the Arrival Matters, an autobiography of the years 1939 to 1969. New York, Harcourt, Brace Namp, World. OCLC 58615. Biographical works on Woolf. Coates, Irene. Who's Afraid of Leonard Woolf? A Case for the Sanity of Virginia Woolf. New York, Soho Press. ISBN 9781569472941. Glendinning, Victoria. Leonard Woolf, A Biography. New York, Free Press. ISBN 9780743246538. OCLC 71779088. Edited excerpt of book available at Glendinning, Victoria. A Fresh Spirit. The Guardian, UK. Retrieved 9 December 2008. Review of book with details about Leonard Woolf available at Gross John, Mr. Virginia Woolf. Commentary. Retrieved 9 December 2008.